In the last lecture, you brainstormed for keyword ideas and put together a list of keywords here in your keyword research template. Now what we want to do in this lecture is look at point 9 on our checklist, which is really to narrow down your keyword list. We want to get one step closer to the end of the process here, which is to really have your chosen keywords, which will be the centerpieces of your content. So how do you start to cut down this list and identify those keywords? Well, what we can really do is really assess the keywords on two criteria. One is the search volume. So how many searches per month in Google do the keywords get? That'll help us identify which of these topics are the most popular and also which of these keywords are the most popular, because we want to create content where there's interest. The thing what we don't want to happen is spend a lot of time writing something, figuring out that actually only 10 people a month search for that. We'd be much better off investing the same amount of time and energy into a keyword that maybe gets 1,000 searches per month. Search volume then is the first thing that we're going to look at, and we're also going to assess really the commercial intent, the business value of certain keywords, when we can do that using cost per click data as a guide. I'm really going to explain how we're going to do that with a real example. So we can use two different tools to find out this information: the Google Keyword Planner here and the Google Everywhere Chrome extension. Let me get started with the Google Keyword Planner. Essentially, the process is going to be the exact same. We just take our list of keywords, pop it in here, and we're going to get our search volume and cost per click data. Now, the Google Keyword Planner tool is actually a tool that is part of Google AdWords. Google AdWords is the platform, the advertising platform of Google. So people use this tool, advertisers really use this tool to identify the search volume and cost per click data of keywords. But for us, we can use the same information to help inform our SEO decisions. Now, once you arrive into the Google Keyword Planner tool, you'll be faced with this particular screen here. Now, one thing to note is when you do sign up to Google AdWords, you can do it with a Gmail account. It's absolutely free to do. You may see that you are being asked to set up a campaign. You don't need to do that. You can actually skip through that process. There's like a button at the top or the button to do that. And then you want to be really coming into Tools and Keyword Planner. If you have any trouble with that at all, don't worry so much, because we can do essentially the same thing in this Keyword Everywhere extension tool. So that's an alternative. One thing that I did want to say is you can use the Keyword Planner tool actually as a brainstorming tool as well. So we're going to get the search volume here in this drop down, but we can use it for brainstorming as well. Essentially the exact same way. You can just type in the keyword and click Get Ideas here. And you'll get a whole list of similar suggestions that we saw before. The reason that I didn't want to start your keyword brainstorming here is that you can see a lot of the terms are very closely related. And so it's more natural to maybe start in something like Wikipedia, where you can really get broad, see the broad connected categories, because a lot of people, everybody's essentially doing their brainstorming here, looking at the same keywords. So you have an advantage if you start outside of this tool. With that said, let us come down to the search volume here. All we're going to do is really copy our list of keywords that we've already got done, paste those in. We can also take our list of topics as well. I'm just going to paste these in because I want to get a sense of the topics that I have. Which is the most popular? Where should I maybe focus my attention? I'm just going to edit this slightly because this will show you the search volume for the exact term. So nobody's going to be searching for search engine optimization in brackets SEO. So I just want to split that out. And also the same thing with SEM. So once I've got my list of keywords there, now I've got a couple of targeting options here. The main one is probably the location. If you're a business that only serves, say, a particular country, you can set that up. For example, if I only had a products shipped to the United States and I only want to look for the search volume there, I can just add that in and click save. You can see that that's now going to only show me the search volume data for this particular country. Now, as I have more of a global business, customers can come from everywhere. I'm just going to leave that off. So remove that and then click save. Now I'm going to get the search volume. What I can see here now is a list of the keywords, the average monthly searches, and also the suggested bid, which is essentially that cost per click data. What I can do is maybe organize this list top to bottom in terms of the average monthly searches. And to do that, I can just click on this column here. Now, no surprise for me that I can see out of all of the topics that search engine optimization is essentially the biggest one. And after that, we move down to some of the social media marketing, email marketing, etc. So that can give you a very high level view of, okay, where's the interest between my different topics? Now, as we move down the list, I guess where we want to focus most of our attention is identifying those longer tail keywords that we found and seeing the difference between those. And I think the range you want to stick with was maybe between 500 searches per month and maybe 2,000, 2,500. I think they aren't going to be as competitive, but they're going to deliver enough search volume. Now I can see that some of my list is being hidden here, so I might extend this out to 50 rows and I can start to see it. So it's good for me to know something like SEO checklist, 2,900 searches per month. I think that's kind of within my range. Even moving a little bit further down, campaign marketing, SEO audit checklist, kind of similar, 480 searches a month. So these are keywords that I'm starting to like. And what I can see as well is that advertisers are paying for these keywords. So if advertisers are paying $5.82 or euros cents per click, then I know this is a valuable keyword for my business. I can sort this list by what advertisers are paying for it. And I can see that some of the most valuable terms, no surprise, something like SEO agency, because people have their wallets out there ready to buy when they're typing in a term like that into Google. Remember the buyer funnel that we looked at? These guys are right at the bottom, they're ready to spend. Whereas if I look at the least valuable terms here, something like local search, webmasters, free course, anybody who types in a free course is not going to want to buy a course, so advertisers are not really spending on that. And something like local search, you can even type any keywords into Google if you're not quite sure what they're talking about. So local search, you can see there is one ad there for it, so somebody's spending money on that. They're spending, let's see, 78 cents. But you can see a lot of it is quite general and broad, and maybe those people are not quite far down the buyer funnel. Essentially, you want to assess then the keywords based on average monthly searches and suggested bids. And you can do essentially the exact same thing with the Keyword Everywhere Chrome extension. You take the same list. What you can do is really, instead of pasting it into the Google Keyword Planner, you just click on the icon here in your browser. You can see that there is a place to paste in the keywords. You can take the keywords from your list, copy those in and paste those in, and you can get the search volume and cost per click. Now, the one caveat with this tool is that it doesn't do the location targeting as well. You can change your settings, and I'll show you how to do that. But it only really shows search volume for these different countries for the moment. I think they're adding a lot every single time, but the targeting is much better in the Google Keyword Planner tool. You can narrow it down to specific cities even. So that's essentially the one caveat that there is between the tools. So have a look at those two different tools. The keywords that I'm starting to like now are these ones within the 500 the range, the couple that I pointed out there. So what I'm going to do is essentially come to my checklist here. I can take the information straight from here. So I'm actually just going to copy this back in. And essentially I want to add this information in here. So let me take this, copy this, paste those in there, get the search volume. I can copy all of these here, 41 rows. I can just paste this back in here. And now you can see I've got the search volume, etc. Delete this row, don't need it. And I can start to look at the keywords that I particularly like. So looking at some of them, I'm just going to highlight some of these here. I'm actually going to highlight the, there we go, easier to see. Best practices, that's kind of an interesting one. Checklist 2016, interesting for websites. So there might be some discrepancy between these tools in terms of search volumes. I think I saw that as 30 in the keyword planner. These tools aren't 100% accurate. None of them are. You can really use them as a guideline. SEO audit checklist is another one I like. So now I'm starting to narrow down my list based on the search volume. And I suggest you do the same. You can just really highlight them here in your keyword research template. Next up, we're going to move to the final step in our keyword research process, choosing our target keywords. So I'll see you there.